Tonight we begin with someone who isn't with us, but I know is with us in spirit and has left a shining light on sport in Aurora and really around Canada. His last name is DooLittle, but if you read his bio, it should have been Do a Lot, because he did a lot. He was involved in almost every sport. He was born 90 years ago, has passed away. His family is with us tonight. We thank them for being here and marking the celebration of his life in sport. So pictures are worth more than 1,000 words, so why don't we show you some pictures now of our first inductee, Loring DooLittle.
Mr. Loring DooLittle was born in Aurora on August 1st, 1928. He lived at number 34 Catherine Avenue with his parents, 3 brothers, and 3 sisters.
There was 7 of us. My oldest brother Clayton was overseas when I was born, so that's the span in the family. Loring and Gar were my other brothers, and my sister Bernice, my sister Audrey, and my sister Jolene. Loring was the fun guy of the whole crew. Didn't do well in school. He had an impediment in his speech. He would get nervous and he would stutter. I think that maybe made him work harder at sports. On the sports field, he had no problem communicating. And the same in his professional career. When he came back to Aurora, he was often asked to speak at church suppers or minor hockey banquets or stuff like that, and he could talk sports stories all day long.
At school, Loring's strengths were best displayed on the sports field, playing junior baseball for Newmarket and midget lacrosse for Aurora. From 1935 to 1943, he played minor baseball, hockey, and lacrosse in Aurora. Around this time, Loring was among 36 boys chosen from over 500 candidates for the Toronto Leafs Baseball School. From 1944 to 1948, he became an all-star, playing baseball for teams in Toronto. He continued to play junior and senior hockey in several local towns. From 1945 to 1947, DooLittle played lacrosse in Maple. Although not a member of a Viaduct League club, he practiced with them informally from 1944 to 1948.
It's funny, he played for the Royal Canadian Air Force. He wasn't in there, but the commander of the base there wanted a hockey team, so he played there.
In 1952, DooLittle attended the Bill McGowan School for Umpires in Florida. After graduation, he worked in the USA and Ontario as a baseball umpire, returning to Canada for the winters, and during the off-season, he refereed hockey. To make ends meet, he worked at the tannery in Newmarket.
So he came home and Dad said, well, you got to get a job, so he went back to the tannery. Well, someone in St. Andrews College said, you know, you're a good hockey man, will you referee the St. Andrews games? So he started there, very quickly went into the OHA Hockey League and climbed the ranks exceptionally fast. Loring was a big man, strong and big, and he commanded respect when he was on the ice.
DooLittle became a hockey official through the organization at 31 years of age and worked the Allen Cup and Memorial Cup in 1956. Loring refereed for the Ontario Hockey Association from 1952 until October 1959, when he advanced to the National Hockey League as an official. He refereed the American and Eastern Pro circuits. DooLittle was an NHL referee from 1959 until his retirement. He took his role as referee or linesman seriously, although there was always time for a laugh off the ice.
George liked to drink after the game. Loring didn't smoke or drink. So anyways, George got in a brawl in a bar in Chicago and got his face split open. And Loring saw him the next morning. Loring came in to work the game in Chicago with him and said, George's face is still bleeding. George wouldn't go to the hospital because Carl Voss, the head of officials, would find out and then they'd be in trouble. So Loring went to the drugstore, got some stuff, come back, and sewed up George's face and patched it up. So the other referees then, from then on, called him Dr. DooLittle. Like, if you got a problem, see Dr. DooLittle.
In the 1960s, he worked as referee and linesman in several Toronto Maple Leafs games. When the NHL expanded to the West Coast in the 1967-68 season, he moved to Los Angeles, but returned to Aurora often to take part in local hockey events.
When we come back onto the ice to start the game, we're skating around and the referee comes over and bumps me, and I thought, whoop. And he says, "Excuse me, Wall." He says, "As you see, I'm in charge here tonight. I'm the referee for tonight's game, and first of all, I want to welcome you to this league. I thought that you've earned your right to be here, and congratulations. But you know, I'm the referee tonight, and you know what this means?" And he puts two hands on his hip. He says, "Yeah, that's the misconduct penalty, right?" He says, "Well, I'm giving you one right now. He says, any BS from you throughout the game, and I'm giving you the other hand." Then he started giving me a tap, and we both started laughing and got on with the game. He's in control, whether he's refereeing hockey or umpiring baseball. He was a no-nonsense person. I wish that he was able to be here. I'd love to have a few jokes with him too.
Growing up, I saw that he had set a real dedication to his friends up here in Aurora. When he would come back from California, his first stop would be the old barber shop on Yonge Street, because he knew all the guys in there, and he'd go there whether he needed a haircut or not, just to get the local gossip to see what had happened when he was away, to find out what was happening in town. And any of those friends that needed help, he'd be there to help them.
Loring Robert Marinus DooLittle died on December 18, 1996, leaving a legacy of which his family is proud. After his death, the town of Aurora named a crescent after him. And now, in recognition of his contribution to sport, we are proud to welcome Mr. Loring DooLittle into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame.
I'd like to welcome Claire DooLittle, a family member of the late Loring DooLittle, and the family DooLittle who is here tonight, presenting sponsor Aurora Mayor Jeff Daw, to come up as well, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, Loring DooLittle and the family DooLittle.
Good evening. My name is Claire DooLittle. I'm Loring's youngest brother. This is his daughter, Kathy. Loring was, when I was growing up, he was my idol. Every kid in Aurora watched hockey. Foster Hewitt would come on, Hockey Night in Canada. Loring worked with George Hayes a lot, and Foster had the ability to pump up the program. And he'd always start it with, "These teams don't like each other, you know. DooLittle and Hayes are going to be busy." Loring loved hockey. He loved this town. He'd come back, speak at public speaking things, such as churches, father-daughter, father-son banquets, minor hockey banquets. When the National Hockey League went to California, he was designated to go to the West Coast. So he worked the West Coast League of the National Hockey League, and he worked the American League and the Western League. So now I saw Bob Wall's picture on there. Bob and I went to high school in Aurora here together, only Bob left in halfway through to grade 9 to go on to be a hockey player, and I stayed in minor hockey. Loring's game in Los Angeles that Bob was talking about, the story I got from my brother was he come up and nudged Bob Wall and he said, any crap from you tonight, you're going back to the Bush League of Lake Wilcox. So there's 2 stories there. My parents would watch the games, and of course then when they went to the West Coast, the only thing we could get was the hockey news. Mother watched the games and was always worried about her son. Father, having been through the First World War and having 7 kids, was the other side of the street. If you're going to play in the Coliseum and you're going to be a gladiator, you're going to get hit. So that was the mom and dad at home. The game in the Fabulous Forum was the opening game for the LA Kings. And I thought about it later. There's 10 players on the ice and 3 officials. 2 of them were from Aurora. Thank you very much.